Here we have a very disingenuous tweet from Saagar Enjeti, who is very disturbed to find out that America first and peace through strength does not mean just bowing down to our adversaries and letting them do whatever they want to do. And Saagar's tweet is in response to this Truth Social from President Trump, saying that he's increasing India's tariffs because they're helping Russia finance the war in Ukraine. Now, what's interesting is that Saagar is a voice on the new right that is of the more isolationist or realist persuasion. He doesn't want new wars. He voted for Trump to end wars. He was mistaken if he believed that President Trump would end wars by allowing Putin to take Ukraine or just screwing over Israel. This trade policy reflects Trump trying to end the Russia-Ukraine war, not make everybody more pro-Ukraine. Ending the Russia-Ukraine war is obviously a very tough thing. Biden couldn't do it, Trump hasn't been able to do it, but one of the reasons it's so hard is because Russia can continue to maintain its war effort because they still are taking in money. Now, usually if you're trying to end a war, you get your opponent to pay a higher price. So in a typical war, you might have Ukraine start striking more Russian targets or hurting more Russian soldiers. The problem with that, and the nuanced part of that, is that Russia's already losing 14 soldiers for every one Ukrainian soldier, according to President Trump's estimates. Those come from US intelligence estimates, and I think that those are pretty trustworthy, given, we had enough penetration into Russia that we understood exactly how and when they would invade Ukraine in 2022. So those numbers are probably accurate. But if that is true, and Putin is already willing to expend that many more lives in order to, really only gather, I think, 1% of new Ukrainian territory over the last 15 months, just hurting more people, killing more people is probably not going to get Putin to end this war. So Trump's strategy, and to be candid, I don't know if this is going to work, but Trump's strategy seems to be that he is going to make it impossible for Putin to finance the war, so he has no way to keep it going. And one of the ways he can do that is to put pressure on India to stop buying Russian oil, because behind China, India is the largest purchaser of Russian oil. Again, I don't know if this is going to work, but it's just very dishonest to say that he's trying to make India be more pro-Ukraine. He's not forcing Modi to put a Ukraine flag in his bio. He's trying to end the conflict. And I think one of the problems with Biden is that when Biden, instead of threatening Putin with force, when it looked like he would invade Ukraine, instead threatened him with sanctions, that gave Putin a roadmap on how he could finance the war. And when partners like India refused to stop purchasing Russian oil because they wanted to remain neutral, Biden just allowed that. And that's because we want to be aligned with India and we want to prop them up. And so I guess we just chose not to be contentious with them when it came to, whether or not they would buy Russian oil. And maybe that was the right decision to make 3 years ago. I don't know. But now that the war's gone on this long and Trump clearly doesn't care who he's, going at with his tariffs, I don't see why we would exclude India from that. I don't know. Comment below. Do you think that this is actually going to do anything to end the Russia-Ukraine war? And do you think that Saagar's tweet is as dishonest as I think it is?